Hello, and welcome to the J-Term Study Abroad Advising presentation. This recorded presentation is a substitute for the in-person advising sessions that we normally hold, so that you may get the information while we operate remotely. Please note, for students who are planning on participating in an other approved J-Term program, viewing this presentation in its entirety is a requirement for you before we can open your application. This presentation will cover J-Term Study Abroad program types, their application processes, eligibility requirements, course approvals, registration and credit transfer, billing, financial aid and scholarships, and where to direct questions after the presentation. There are two types of J-Term programs. For other approved programs, all aspects of the program are managed by approved study abroad provider organizations. These study abroad providers programs are evaluated by our study abroad advisory, and the credits from these courses are guaranteed St. Thomas elective credits. These programs are attended by students from all over the U.S., not just St. Thomas, and the programs are led by trained staff and faculty that are hired by the approved study abroad provider. St. Thomas and UMAIE consortium programs are managed by St. Thomas and UMAIE. These programs are pre-approved to fulfill specific requirements. St. Thomas programs are attended only by St. Thomas students, and UMAIE programs are attended only by students from St. Thomas and other institutions that make up the consortium. These programs are led by St. Thomas and UMAIE faculty who serve as program directors. For applying to other approved programs, there are two applications. First through St. Thomas, then through your program provider. Any application fee or confirmation deposit should be paid to the study abroad provider directly. Attending an advising session or viewing this presentation is a requirement prior to creating your application. You may only apply to one program at a time, and there is no priority deadline. The final deadline is October 1st. For St. Thomas and UMAIE programs, there is only one application through St. Thomas, and deposits are paid directly to St. Thomas. Attending an advising meeting or viewing this presentation is not a requirement. You may only apply to one program at a time, and there is a priority application period from April 1st to April 10th. The final deadline is October 1st. For other approved programs, the first step in the application process is to email the Office of Study Abroad at studyabroad@stthomas.edu to have your application created. Once your application is created, you may log on to our website at stthomas.edu/studyabroad using your St. Thomas username and password. You'll need to complete all the requirements in the Study Abroad application, which most students can do in one sitting. Once all the requirements are marked as received, the application is complete. There's no final submit or send button. The Office of Study Abroad staff will then review applications for completeness and eligibility, and if approved, will send an approval letter and an official transcript to your study abroad program provider on your behalf. Next is to apply directly to your program by completing your study abroad provider's application through their program's website. A final decision will be communicated to you once your study abroad provider has your complete application and the approval letter and transcript from St. Thomas. That's why it's important to complete your St. Thomas application before you complete your provider's application. During the application process, don't forget to pay any application fee or confirmation deposit directly to the study abroad provider. For St. Thomas and UMAIE applications, you'll start your process by searching for your program on our website, which you can do by selecting the Search All Programs button, then clicking on your program to begin your application. Once your application is complete, It will be reviewed for eligibility requirements by the Office of Study Abroad staff and forwarded to the program directors for review. Once a decision has been made by the program directors, they will inform the Office of Study Abroad, and staff will send a notification to the applicants about the decision. Eligibility. For all J-term study abroad programs, St. Thomas has a GPA requirement of 2.0, but keep in mind that some other approved programs may have a higher requirement, so it's important to check that on the program's website. Students may not apply for, maintain an approved application, nor participate in a study abroad program while on academic or conduct probation. So it's important that you're in good standing not just during the application process, but also after you've been approved and through your study abroad experience. If your program has any prerequisites, they must be fulfilled no later than the end of the fall semester prior to departure. So it's okay if at the time of your application, the prerequisite is not fulfilled, just as long as it is by the end of fall semester. Course approvals. There are two ways to seek course approval for your J-term study abroad program course. The first option can save you a lot of time, so we recommend that you start by going to our course approval database on our website by clicking on the course approval database link from the Students drop-down menu. You can search by subject or core requirement, country or region, language of instruction, and the term that you're studying abroad to see if your course has been pre-approved for specific St. Thomas credits. If your course is listed here, you're good to go, and no further steps are necessary for approval. If you do not see your course listed here, don't worry. It doesn't mean you can't get specific major, minor, or core requirement met. It just means you'll have to complete a course approval form. You can obtain a course approval form from the Office of Study Abroad and our online resources section of our One St. Thomas site. You'll need to share that and a syllabus of the course to the appropriate department contact to seek approval. All students must do this individually, so even if you have a friend going on the exact same program, taking the exact same course, and they already got approval from the department, you will still need to complete your own course approval form. Now don't forget, this is just if you want to fulfill specific major, minor, or core requirements. If you only wish to receive elective credit, you do not need to seek course approval because it's already guaranteed. Many of you may be seeking specific theology requirements, so to save you time, we've put together a few options for you. We can show you that IES has a program in Rome called From Pontius Pilate to Theodosius, which will meet your second theology requirement. For your third theology requirement, IAU has two programs, the Mediterranean Basin and Europe and the Islamic World. Also, any religious studies courses on AIFS Germany and AIFS Italy's J-term programs will also count for your third theology. For St. Thomas and UMAIE course approval, the program's brochure will list what the course fulfills. So when you search for the program on our website and you click on the program, in the program highlights section, it will clearly state which St. Thomas course it fulfills. Regarding registration and credit transfer with other approved programs, some programs have courses that are worth 3 credits and some that are worth 4. Even if a course is only worth 3 credits, it will still completely fulfill a requirement for which you have approval. However, in your total accumulation of credits, it will only count as 3 credits. Registration is processed by the Office of Study Abroad, and it's important to note that your grades from your study abroad course does impact your GPA. If you're interested in taking a course pass-fail, the normal guidelines apply, and you can find that information at the Office of the Registrar's website at stthomas.edu/registrar. Regarding other approved programs degree evaluation, when you apply to an other approved program, you must also make sure to request and authorize that your study abroad provider send your study abroad transcript to St. Thomas. Oftentimes they default to sending directly to students, so it's important that St. Thomas receives your study abroad transcript directly from the provider. Once it's received, St. Thomas will add in your study abroad grades and update your St. Thomas transcript. Please note this typically takes longer than when you're studying on campus. It can take a few weeks to a few months longer, so please be patient. For those of you concerned about the senior residency requirement, study abroad credits count as St. Thomas credits, not as transfer credits, so you will still meet the senior residency requirement when you study abroad. For other approved billing, the study abroad provider will send St. Thomas an invoice for your program, which St. Thomas will then pay. Then St. Thomas will charge you on your student account a $275 off-campus study fee, tuition, and the remaining program fee, which includes the costs of things like room and board. A couple of notes about these billable costs. Not all program fees include international airfare. If a flight is included, the study abroad provider's website will clearly state this. And for tuition, you will be charged either St. Thomas J-term tuition or the program's cost of tuition, whichever is greater. Finally, non-billable costs should be paid directly to the study abroad provider. These typically include an application fee and deposit to confirm your place on the program. For St. Thomas and UMAIE Billing, you will be charged a $275 off-campus study fee, St. Thomas J-term tuition, and a program fee. The program fee covers all programmatic costs, including airfare. You can find the program fee for a program by navigating to Search for a Program on the Office of Study Abroad website, and then clicking Cost near the top of the page. For financial aid, students studying abroad during J-term are generally only eligible for additional loans to help finance their study abroad costs. You can access a financial aid worksheet for study abroad by navigating to the Office of Financial Aid's website at stthomas.edu/admissions/undergraduate/financial-aid. Then click on Study Abroad. That said, there are some J-term study abroad specific scholarships. For more information, visit the Office of Study Abroad website and click on the Scholarships link from the Financial Information drop-down menu. While we are operating remotely, if you have any questions, please direct them to the Office of Study Abroad by emailing studyabroad@stthomas.edu. In the subject line, please write J-term advising question, and in your email, specify if you are asking about an other approved program, a St. Thomas program, or a UMAIE program. Thank you for listening. We are excited for you to take your next step on your study abroad journey, and we're here to guide you along the way.